My sentiments exactly 1-2.
I'm going 1-2.
What's up?
I want to bite your neck. Wonder where the hell that came from. Like,
Yeah.
didn't come from a movie that I've ever heard of.
No. I think they just needed something that a vampire would say, and they didn't know what to say. They just wanted to do an imitation. They just came up with that. James Moss is in the chat.
What's
What's up, James?
How's it going, James?
Welcome. I bid you welcome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is ready to talk about some vampires?
Hell yeah.
Bloodsuckers.
Creatures of the
Creatures of the night.
Goddamn shit-sucking vampire. Was that Lost Boys?
Yeah. Moon brother.
I watched Fright Night last night.
Nice. It's a good one.
Oh yeah.
I caught the Scars of Dracula because I never noticed that until you guys pointed that out. I'm like, oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
He even showed the stupid bat.
Really bad bat.
Cheesy bat.
Terrible bat.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys watch anything in preparation or anything?
Yeah, watched a few movies.
I didn't, but I probably should have.
Psych, man. Love me a good vampire movie.
Me too.
I'm here. Always been a huge fan of vampires.
Definitely.
Of course, the 1931 Dracula was one of the very first horror movies I ever saw decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
It got me into horror, so you could say that it all started with vampires.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So that's the first like horror movie you've ever seen?
One of them is that and the original Frankenstein.
Wow, a perfect way to start.
Yeah. Start from the beginning, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I got my number 5 ready if you guys are ready to do that.
Yeah, go for it.
Yep.
Good old number 5 is going to go to this film, Salem's Lot.
Yes.
Excellent choice.
Excellent movie.
Such a good, creepy TV miniseries, I guess, if that counts as a movie.
Yeah, I would say.
I just love the atmosphere and creepiness of this movie. The fog in it is just beautiful.
Yeah.
There's some great creepy stuff like the brother outside the window. Creepy. You got the one guy who's sitting in the chair with the glowing eyes saying like, look at me. Yeah. Of course, they changed some stuff around from the novel. Like Kurt Barlow is not a monstrous like Count Orlok homage like he is in this movie. But
right,
yeah, I think there's some great effects. It's definitely a long movie because it's a miniseries. But yeah, Salem's Lot, good stuff.
That's one of the best things about it is Kurt Barlow.
Yeah.
It's scary, like
very different from the book.
Yeah, might be one of the scariest, if not the scariest, looking vampire ever.
Yeah.
The way it pops up like,
yeah,
definitely up there.
Yeah.
Tobe Hooper directed that one.
Yeah, that's right.
Love it.
Yeah, I think it's like the scariest like TV movie,
Mhm.
you know.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep, and it was in the 70s too. And like I've said, the 70s just had a whole creepiness about it anyway. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We knew how to build suspense back then.
Mhm.
Great choice.
Thank you, thank you.
So what about you, Sean? What's your number 5?
It might be a bit of a shocker to you guys. It's this high, The Vampire Lovers.
Nice.
That's how good this movie is. I love this freaking movie.
Me too.
Hell yeah.
One of my favorite Hammer movies. I can't say enough about it. It's a great adaptation of the Carmilla story.
Mhm.
Ingrid Pitt is phenomenal. It's so memorable in this movie.
Mhm.
It's just got everything that a classic Hammer movie should have and more. And, it's like very ultra super sexy,
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
It's got beautiful like cinematography. The goth feel to it is amazing.
Mhm.
I just love it. Yeah, Peter Cushing is fantastic. It's
Hell yeah.
everything about it is great.
Yeah.
It's a great choice. I'll be honest, it's been a minute since I've seen it, but wasn't that a part of like a trilogy, like Twins of Evil and that? And
Yes, the
Lust for a
Karnstein
Vampire.
trilogy.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Lust for a Vampire was the second one. Isn't that
Right. Right.
not as well loved as the others?
Very campy.
Oh yeah, super campy.
So my number 5 is going to be From Dusk Till Dawn.
Nice.
This is actually a good movie, even if you take the vampires out of the equation. Like the story of the two Gecko brothers, played by George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, and then the family that they like hijack,
Yeah.
take hostage. I mean, yeah, like when I first watched this, I didn't even know it was going to have vampires in it. I thought it was a really good movie. And then the vampires came in. I was like, oh my gosh, it's freaking vampires. It's like, okay. And this is a really cool movie, just regardless. The vampires, I'm not big on the design of the vampires in this. Some of them look kind of like weird, like lizard creatures or bat creatures or even zombies. There's some really ugly CGI in it too. But other than that, it's a great movie. I absolutely love it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's just a blast. George Clooney's always fun to watch, and it's really cool seeing him team up with others like Tom Savini
Yeah.
against some bloodsuckers in a all night bar at in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Savini with his cod piece there.
Yeah. Come on, sex machine.
Sex machine. Yeah, it's a great choice. I'll be honest. I was very similar because I never saw it until I was doing like a Quentin Tarantino marathon, watching all of his films for the first time. And well, I know he didn't direct it; he had a hand in it. And
Yeah.
I was like, hey, this is a pretty good crime movie right here. And then vampires. I was like, what in the hell?
I know, right?
Turn.
Yeah. It's like I didn't know this is a horror movie.
Yeah.
But the best thing about it is Salma Hayek, baby. Talk about a goddess.
Yep.
I'm sure Quentin Tarantino loved filming that scene.
Yeah.
With her.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And Seth Gecko is he's a cool anti-hero. He is, because he's kind of he's the more sane of the two of them, but he's fun.
I actually kind of like Tarantino. He's nuts, like.
Yeah. He was psycho.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the crime story part of it than the vampire. I mean, outside of Salma Hayek, though.
Yeah, the movie was directed by Robert Rodriguez, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first part feels like Quentin Tarantino, but when vampires come out, that feels like Robert Rodriguez.
Hmm.
Yeah. Definitely.
True.
Great pick.
Thanks.
My number 4, I know there's better ones out there, and a lot of people kind of iffy on this one, but I love it. John Carpenter's Vampires.
Nice.
Fun movie. James Woods is a really cool, kind of an asshole vampire killer. Forgetting the actor's name, of course, but the main vampire that plays Valak, who is also
Thomas Ian Griffith.
yes, who is also Terry Silver in Karate Kid 3.
Yeah.
He's not bad. He's a very cool vampire. And as far as like, this movie showed some kind of gore that Carpenter never really showed before. Like when he walks in the door and like stabs the guy through his gut, but rips him and he splits in half and the blood shoots. That was
brutal.
There's just some hilarious stuff in this movie, like the scene where he keeps beating up on this priest guy, just for the hell of it. And then when they drive, let me ask you something. When I was beating your ass back there, did you get wood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good score, good movie. Like I said, at this point, everyone was kind of iffy with Carpenter. Just kind of like, eh. But I've always enjoyed this movie and had a blast with it. Yeah.
I love it. I think it's very underrated.
Yes.
I think it's an awesome movie.
Mm-hmm.
Valak was a great vampire, and he really cleaned house.
Yes.
And James Woods is a great protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
I did like James Woods.
Yeah. He was great.
I think practical effects are good. How they kill a lot of the vampires, like they harpoon them and then drag them out into the sun and they explode in fire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff. I love it.
The different set in the daytime,
Mm-hmm.
Daywalkers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, my number 4 would be Fright Night.
Hell yeah.
Awesome movie.
Love it.
This is just 80s all day. Like the soundtrack is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So 80s.
Love it.
But yeah, Jerry Dandridge is like probably the most charismatic vampire on film. Like he was fantastic. Like
Mm-hmm.
what a great villain.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably my favorite vampire outside of Dracula,
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you got, Roddy McDowell is the classic like Hammer style Van Helsing type character. Peter Vincent.
Peter Vincent. Good stuff.
And great action, amazing practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
And I love all the characters, Evil Ed and Jolly Brewster.
Yeah, great
Oh,
cast
he's
and
so
characters.
cool, Brewster. There's no such things as vampires, fruitcake.
It
He's
actually
awesome.
it is on DVD, James. I got it right here.
Me too.
Yeah. It's hard to find. It's out of print.
Yeah, it's tough to find, yeah.
Yeah.
Great pick.
Yeah, it's a good one. My number 4 is going to be Salem's Lots, the original. I like the 2003, 2004, the one with Rob Lowe. I like that one as well. That one might be a little closer to the book when it comes to Barlow. But yeah, Toby Hooper directed this, and like you already pointed out, Reggie Nalder as his Kurt Barlow is a lot closer to Count Orlok from Nosferatu than his literary counterpart, who looked normal and talked and everything. This one is way more monstrous, more of a fanged demon than a suave, sophisticated, debonair man who can blend in, like in the book. I love the book. The book's, of course, a little better than this, but it's a great movie. Very creepy, very suspenseful. I love the two Glick brothers when they become vampires and when they're at the window and stuff. Very creepy stuff. When Barlow comes out of the shadows and stuff. Yeah, it's great. Very suspenseful, very creepy. It's a fantastic, scary movie.
I agree.
Love Salem's Lot.
I love the old man too. Like,
Yeah.
it's like face the monster.
Yeah.
Your faith versus his faith.
So good. Well, my number 3, I'm going to go to Hammer of Dracula.
Hammer of Dracula. Maybe it should be called that.
Or Horror of Dracula. Yeah. Spin-off, Hammer of Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite incarnation of Dracula. But I guess I'd throw the Bela Lugosi Dracula film in here as well, because there were 2 vampire films that I was looking for, and that was Dracula and Interview with a Vampire. And I'm like, I know damn well I own those. I cannot find them, so I couldn't put it in here. But oh well. Anyway, Horror of Dracula. It's my favorite portrayal of Dracula from Christopher Lee. I know that's probably a not great take to some people. But just everything about this movie is fantastic. The atmosphere, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing are just perfectly casted. Like, they are amazing.
No, absolutely.
Even the effects are good, especially like the cross forehead that burns.
Yeah.
Once again, there were a few things changed from source material, but overall, I kind of like the changes. And of course, just like last time when we talked about Hammer Dracula, I'm forgetting his name again. The first guy that goes to the castle.
Harker?
Jonathan Harker.
Thank you, Jonathan Harker. Yes, the one of the changes is that when he goes there, he's already aware Dracula's a vampire, and he's so ambitious to go and kill him. Which, like, yeah, we've talked about it. It's fantastic in every single way. So, Horror of Dracula or Hammer of Dracula.
Excellent choice.
Thank you.
It's a great one. I absolutely love it.
Oh yeah.
Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
Drink from me and live forever. Interview with the Vampire.
Oh yeah.
Watch it the other night and just to see if it's still as good as I remember, and yeah, it's amazing. You talk about an epic movie. This is a perfect example of an epic vampire movie.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Fantastic acting, like the cinematography is unbelievable. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what a great cast! Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise,
Oh yeah.
Christian Slater, Antonio Banderas.
Yep.
Great cast.
Yeah, even Kirsten Dunst is great as the little girl. I want some more. That scene still holds up so great. Like when she first changes into she's all dirty and heaving, and next thing her hair is perfect, and you see her teeth slowly come out.
Mm-hmm.
Great effect.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Damn good choice.
It's a great one.
Say what you will about Tom Cruise is great in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really good in that. And Brad Pitt.
One of the few times that you see him as a villain,
Yeah.
He's so good.
For sure. Great pick.
My number 3 is going to be Dracula. All of them. All the good ones.
All of them.
Yeah. The 1931 original with Bela Lugosi. Horror of Dracula with Christopher Lee. And all the Hammer Dracula movies with Christopher Lee. The 1979 version with Frank Langella. I love this one. I think it's underrated. This is a really good
It
movie.
is, yeah.
Yeah, and of course the 1992 Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola with Gary Oldman. And I really like the 1922 Nosferatu as well, which is technically a Dracula adaptation.
Right.
All the names.
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
That.
Nice. Yeah, all the Dracula movies. I love the novel by Bram Stoker. I love all the adaptions, all the good ones anyway. Yeah, I love Bela Lugosi. I love Christopher Lee. They're tied for my favorite Dracula. I can't choose one or the other. They're both great in different ways. Yeah, huge Dracula fan. Yeah, I love all the good adaptions. I can't decide on just one. So it's got to be a tie. Because if I picked all of them individually, it would take up the whole list.
Like all 5 movies, Dracula.
Yeah.
All the adaptations of Dracula.
Yeah, it would just be a Dracula video again. We already did that.
Very clever putting them on one spot.
Hell yeah. Great pick. Or should I say great picks? Because
I should have thought of that.
Hey, Sean, is that your cat up there on the chair?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a special guest today.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize she was there until we started. Oh shit, the cat's in the back.
Oh, great pick. My number 2, The Lost Boys.
Nice.
What can I say about this movie? One of the greatest scenes in cinematic history with Tim Capello's "I Still Believe." That is incredible.
Love that song.
Which is cool that Tim Capello will still perform that at conventions and stuff. So, he has a good time with it. I think the cast is fantastic. This was really, I'd say, the turning point for the vampire, where instead of being like suave and gentlemen, they became like asshole party vampires that were like, we're gonna kill everybody, just stuff like that. And I know I guess a shout out to Near Dark as well, because that came out around the same time. Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland is fantastic in this movie as David. Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. I mean, the two Coreys, they were great.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, I used to have a crush on the Star character, because I was just like, yeah. I love all the dialogue, like, good night, bloodsucker. Just kills him.
Death by Stereo.
Yeah. They have the one vampire that they call Twisted Sister. And the whole scene with how are those maggots, Michael? You're eating.
Yeah. I was gonna say that when they're eating the Chinese food, and it's like,
yeah. Such a classic movie directed by Joel Schumacher, and great cast and everything. So, The Lost Boys at number 2.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Trash Dash?
Trash Dash is in the chat. How's it going?
What's up?
Well, it wasn't as clever as Hellhound. So in at number 2 is Dracula, 1931, starring Bela Lugosi.
Oh yeah.
Classic. You
Yeah.
guys have these 4Ks there?
It's a beautiful steel book. I don't.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, most would say it's the definitive portrayal of the character, by
Mhm.
Bela Lugosi.
Mhm.
Awesome movie, incredible gothic atmosphere,
Mhm.
And I think the fact that you don't hear like music in the movie, I know they made a version later on with the music, but I like it without, because that makes it a little creepier, when you don't hear any music in the background.
Yeah.
My only issue is, the end is anticlimactic in my opinion, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, but it was made in 1931, so
yeah, I know they couldn't.
had a little bit of slack.
They didn't have the budget for blood and gore
Yeah.
and stuff, and
Some big climax, like in horror of Dracula.
right. But I love Edward Van Sloan as Van Helsing is great, and
Yeah,
the guy who plays Renfield, he's awesome. He's so like over the top.
Yep.
Dwight Fry.
Yeah, yeah. He was in a lot of the Universal horrors.
Yeah, he was in a lot of the Frankensteins and stuff.
Yeah.
Dracula 3D.
Hell no. You won't see that anywhere on my list.
Maybe the number one worst.
Maybe the worst ever Dracula adaptation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need Dracula turning into a praying mantis. Like,
Right. The heck was that?
I'd rather watch Dracula 2000 or whatever it was.
Yeah, me too.
yeah, at least that movie had Slayer in the soundtrack.
Yeah, there's that. Or Love It First Bite or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
George Hamilton as Dracula.
Yeah. All right, is it my turn?
Yep.
My number 2 is going to be, of course, The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, the ultimate party movies. I freaking love this movie. I saw it at the theater. I absolutely love it. It's just so much fun. I love the characters. I love the cast. It's so like sleek and just sexy and just I don't know. It just gives me such a good feeling every time I watch it.
Mhm.
Always puts me in a good mood no matter what. I love the brothers, Sam and Michael.
Mhm.
I love the Frog Brothers. And I love the vampires led by Kiefer Sutherland. They're great. Great soundtrack, great scenery, great gothic feel.
Mhm.
It's just awesome. I really have nothing bad to say about the Lost Boys. I think yeah, it's a great movie in every way.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a late bloomer to that one. I didn't get around to seeing it till like a couple of years ago, like 3-4 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Like I never watched it when I was a kid. Anything.
Oh wow.
I don't know why. It's just one of those movies that you don't never get around to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see what the fuss was about. So it's really good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool.
Great pick. My number one is probably an extremely obvious pick. I mean, come on, it's Fright Night.
Ah, ooh, look at the steelbook. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
I gotta get that.
I
Yeah, me
reckon
too.
I was shocked with how many special features and documentaries are on this thing.
Nice.
Yeah, Fright Night is a movie that has been in my life for as long as I can remember. At one point, I actually wore the VHS out; like it would not play. So I actually had to get it on DVD, and here we are, all these years later, just now upgrading. But God, it's such a good movie, and director Tom Holland being a fan of Hammer horror, I like that he implemented a few things in there to kind of give it that classic feeling.
Yeah.
With still making it fun and 80s and just a blast. And of course, one of the best posters. That is just awesome, fantastic. Peter Vincent he's one of my favorite vampire killers because he's a flawed character, but throughout he'll still fight to the death if he has to. So that's what I like about him. Charlie Brewster, Evil Ed. You got Amy in here too, which she's okay. Amy, I find it weird that they went through all this stuff to save Amy, and then you watch the second, and then they're just like, "Oh yeah, he's not with Amy anymore. He's with
Yeah.
What?
After all that.
Yeah. There's some hilarious stuff, and I know people say this is a horror comedy. I say it's a horror movie, just with a few humorous elements throughout.
Oh yeah, I would say that.
I love the whole ending scene where they're smashing the windows in the basement. And why does he have so many windows in the basement?
Yeah, like a church and they have all the glass breaking and stuff.
Yeah.
But the way he's like in vampire mode, freaking out, like they break the glass, he's like, "Oh yeah!" Yeah, amazing practical. Because when Evil Ed at one point turns into a wolf, which of course I'm sure is somewhere in vampire lore.
Yeah.
But we always see the transformation from human to wolf, like in the Howling and stuff. But this was wolf back to human, and it was so gnarly looking.
It's so good.
Yeah, great special effect.
Without a doubt, Fright Night. Personally,
it's almost sad too when he does. It's like sad too when he dies. Like, and you can tell Peter Vincent even is like, oh, he felt bad about it. He's just a kid.
And as much as I will praise this movie forever, I've always had the slightest nitpick, and that was when Charlie Brewster runs to Evil Ed and he's trying to figure out how to kill a vampire, but he's like, "You're a horror fan."
Yeah,
I know, right?
Vampire movies all the time.
Seen enough movies, yeah.
Yeah, that's all he does is watch vampire movies.
Yeah,
is to go to somebody else for advice.
That was my slightest little nitpick there, but it don't ruin the movie for me. But yeah.
And he tells him about how, a vampire cannot enter without being invited by the rightful owner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He should know all that.
Right.
Jerry Dandridge, he is a perfect douchebag. But he's he goes in, he's just like, okay, as long as she don't invite him in, we're good. He comes downstairs, there he is. Hello, Charlie. And he's just But also a very smart vampire. He gives Charlie a chance. He says, forget about me, I'll forget about you. We're good. But
I'd have been like, okay.
Yeah. Love it though.
You have to have faith for that to work.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Vincent.
Oh, and one of my favorite scenes I replayed so much was the nightclub scene, because I love when he's boom, catches his fist. And you shouldn't lose your temper, Charlie. It isn't. I could ramble about this movie, but I
love the music in that scene. It's so freaking 80s, like.
Oh, love it.
just moved to Italy. I'm sure it's no surprise what my number one is. Hammer of Dracula. No.
Great choice.
Horror of
Horror of
Dracula.
Hell yeah.
Which is, it is obviously the American title. It's just Dracula everywhere else. But I prefer that title because it makes it, that's how it differentiates itself from the other films, the other adaptions. It's horror of Dracula, it's the Hammer version,
Yep.
But yeah, I love everything about this movie, and I've said it many, many times. Everything is great. The score is phenomenal.
Yep.
It's just the ultimate Hammer movie for me, Beautiful color, so gothic. It's Christopher Lee is phenomenal. This is, Peter Cushing's phenomenal. It's just
Yep.
perfect. It's just the perfect. I know it strays from the source material a little bit, but I just think it's perfect.
Mhm.
I agree.
It's the best Dracula movie for me.
I agree. And much like you with The Lost Boys, that's one of those movies I didn't watch till like 5 years ago. And a lot of people, so it was kind of new for me as well, but loved it. So great pick.
Yes, James. I know.
Should be Iron Maiden.
Should be Iron Maiden, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I like Rage Against the Machine, but come on.
Yeah. I've got several honorable mentions to get out of the way real quick before I reveal my number one choice.
Cool.
Vampires. Fright Night Part 2.
Yeah.
Oh.
Brides of Dracula.
Yes.
Also Dracula's daughter.
Yeah.
Vampire Lovers. Return of the Vampire with Bela Lugosi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He plays a very similar character to Dracula.
Right.
Bordello of Blood. I know this movie's dumb, but I think it's very, very fun. It's stupid as hell, but it's so entertaining.
Yep.
The Subspecies movies by Full Moon with Radu, who's one of the most badass vampires I've ever seen. The Count Yorga movies, Count Yorga Vampire and Return of Count Yorga.
Yes, those are cool.
These are really good. Yeah. And of course, Near Dark.
Nice.
And my number one favorite vampire movie, of course, has got to be Fright Night.
Nice.
I've talked about this movie ad nauseum on this channel. But just to sum up, yeah, Charlie Brewster's a great protagonist. Peter Vincent's great as the kind of like the Van Helsing type who played a Van Helsing type character in actual vampire movies, and now he's a horror host. My dream job, I might add. Yeah, Amy's great. Of course, Billy Cole, and of course Jerry Dandridge is one of the best vampires in the movies. I think he is my second favorite vampire character next to Dracula, of course.
Same.
And, yeah, great practical effects, great soundtrack, great scenery, great atmosphere, great suspense, great humor. You're so cool, Brewster. Of course, the Evil Ed character is a lot of fun, played by Stephen Jeffries. I love him; he's awesome. Yeah, the whole cast is great. All the characters
turkey in the oven.
Oh yeah, he's great. Everybody's great. Yeah, great movie. Very, very fun. This movie is an absolute blast. It's just highly entertaining, and it always puts me in a good mood. Absolutely love it. It's a comfort movie.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I thought it was alright. Trash. Obviously, it's not as good as the Hammer versions, but It's kind of cheesy, but what do you guys think about Just Franco's Dracula?
Pretty close to the book.
Yeah.
It's a Christopher Lee Dracula movie that isn't a Hammer movie.
Right. It's not bad.
Yeah,
It's
I
probably
like it.
one of his better movies. Like,
yeah. It's very low budget.
Yeah, I guess I got a few honorable mentions here, or rather, just some mentions to go through. Okay, these two technically are not great, but I really only like one of them, and that is the Lost Boys sequels. For some reason, the Tribe I don't care for. The Thirst I thought was pretty good. It wasn't bad. But to make a sequel that long after the first one, yeah, this one it has like, what is it? Kiefer Sutherland's like brother or cousin, Angus Sutherland, in this movie.
I think it's his cousin. I think.
Yeah. The Tribe, like I said, wasn't too fond of, but The Thirst wasn't bad. I like the things they do with this movie and stuff, but yeah. As you already said, From Dusk Till Dawn, very fun movie. Good stuff. As you also already said, Bordello of Blood. I like what they do with this movie. I like how you have both Chris Sarandon and Corey Feldman, but it's like their roles have switched. So now Corey Feldman, vampire, and Jerry. This one, I guess you could say, is technically horror, but I'm going to go with Blade because I always loved this movie. And, you know, at this point, this is when, like, those superhero movies were kind of still dark as hell. You know?
Yeah.
Like, this movie has some good blood and gore to it. Wesley Snipes was badass as Blade. Of course, this one that I'll talk about a little bit later. This one. This is my last one for now. Well, actually, two more, sorry. I was not happy when this got released, but Fright Night the remake. It's not one of the worst remakes ever made, but come on. And finally, these two, Brides of Dracula, Scars of Dracula. Two, my top three right there, horror, Bride, Scars. So there's that.
I'll say some honorable mentions too. Of course, Bride of Dracula. Just barely missed my list, but I want to put like, all Hammer movies. Twins of Evil. The Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yep.
Definitely a good movie. I have a fun time with it. Is it a great movie? No. Lust for a Vampire. I have fun with it. It's cheesy. And it's sleazy. It's cheesy and sleazy. Salem's Lot, of course. Yeah. I have other ones, but are we going to talk about like underrated ones, or should I just...
Yeah.
All right, I'll save that for later.
I think the most underrated is Vampires.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So I don't see this movie talked about a whole lot. And a lot of people say this is one of John Carpenter's worst. I couldn't disagree more. And I think Near Dark's pretty underrated too. I think it's often overshadowed by The Lost Boys, which I do like.
Yeah,
better.
definitely.
Pretty good too.
Yeah.
It does get overshadowed by like The Lost Boys and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good. I love Bill Paxton in that one.
Yeah, he's great.
Lance Henriksen.
Yep. Wasn't there it's been a while. Wasn't there a thrash metal band in there called Holy Moses at one point in Near Dark?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched it.
Me too.
It's funny how, in a way, it is almost like Twilight.
Yeah.
Much better version of Twilight.
Oh yeah, of course.
It is kind of like a love story kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, so one I would say for underrated is Vampire Circus.
Oh yeah.
A whole lot of fun. It's just quirky. It's kind of unique.
Mm-hmm.
That's good, great stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
just did my review in this one. Martin,
Martin.
is it a vampire movie? Kind of, right?
Yeah.
I think it counts. Whether he's a real vampire, doesn't matter. He's still a vampire, like in real life. You know, maybe he's not a supernatural vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a human vampire. Or maybe he was. Who knows?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Good pick. As far as most underrated for me, I can't really say this is most underrated. But I am going to go with Twilight. It's a masterpiece. not really. Like I've mentioned many times, I'm sorry. Fright Night Part 2. I do find it underrated because there's a lot of people that don't even know there's a Fright Night Part 2.
I know, right?
But I like to have William Rags, Roddy McDowell back. I like that this one has much more of a gothic, like Peter Vincent's apartment looks like a castle in Transylvania or something. Like, cool looking. Still some great music, some great practical effects. Is it perfect like the first one? No. One of my main issues with the movie is the constant back and forth with Charlie and Peter Vincent. Like, Charlie's like, nah, vampires don't exist. And he's like, yeah, they do. And then he believes, and then he don't. And then he believes, and then he don't. It's just like, like hilarious stuff with the vampire. You have the one actor who is the wolf in this movie, who was also the wolf in Monster Squad. So
John Grease.
Yes. Yeah. I directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, so he's got some good stuff. I mean, the It miniseries, Season of the Witch, Fright Night 2.
Yeah.
It's a damn shame we never got a Fright Night 3 before Roddy McDowell passed away, but yeah. Love it. Still love it. Fright Night Part 2.
I'd say the most underrated Hammer of Dracula is Scar of Dracula.
Yes. So good.
Terrible bats notwithstanding. But Christopher Lee has so much more to do in this one. He's where, you know, a lot of the sequels, he didn't have too many lines. Here he's got a lot to do, much more dialogue. He's still just as menacing as ever. Love it. I love Patrick Troughton as Clove, you know.
Yep.
They kind of hiked up the gore and the sex and
Yep.
we'll have some wine.
I think that's the most underrated of the Hammer Dracula movies.
Gotta mention this one, which I think is very underrated. Daybreakers.
Oh yeah.
The Ethan Hawke. Those are really kick ass, you know. Willem Dafoe is badass. You got Sam Neill's great villain.
Oh yeah.
I just love the idea that, like a blood substitute, almost like trying to be like a vegan or something, because they, instead of having to kill people, they try and come up with a blood substitute. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's a cool take.
I mean, one more. What the hell was Fright Night 2, New Blood? What the hell was this? It's not any damn thing. It's just another remake that takes place in a different country.
Right.
Stupid.
Yeah. I bought it when it came out. Didn't even know it was being made. And the portrayal of Peter Vincent in this movie is so terrible.
I couldn't even finish it. I tried, and then I just gave up.
When he showed up at the end, and this was his exact facial expression: "Welcome to Fright Night for real, bitch." Oh god.
Oh, God.
I don't know what it is, but with the Fright Night remake and this other Fright Night remake, they turned Peter Vincent's character from a sweet old caring man to a loudmouth, cussing every 5-second douchebag.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the cash grab.
Yep.
That's probably why it went straight to video, right? I don't think that ever came out in the movies.
Yeah, that's what I know of.
Another underrated one, Captain Kronos, Vampire
Oh,
Hunter.
Yeah, I should have grabbed that as
Super fun. Love John Carson. Carolyn Monroe, of course.
well. Yeah.
I gotta seriously need to upgrade to the Scream Factory.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
I mean, there's no Carolyn Monroe on here even. Come on.
So Countess Dracula, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but is it a vampire movie?
Yeah.
More of a true crime movie, almost.
Yeah, pretty much. So, what's everybody's favorite male vampire character besides Dracula? For me, of course, it's got to be Jerry Dandridge.
It's Jerry Dandridge all day.
Yep.
It's got to be.
Was a no-brainer.
A good vampire.
Yeah.
Jerry Dandridge.
I mean, I like Lestat a lot too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
David
Jerry
from Lost Boys
Dandridge.
a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
How about everybody's favorite female vampire character? For me, it's probably going to be Ingrid Pitt from Vampire Lovers.
I second that.
Yeah.
Well, because I haven't seen Vampire Lovers in quite a while, I'm going to have to go in a different direction. I'm just going to say, I'm sorry to keep bringing this movie up. I'm just going to say Regine Dandridge from Fright Night 2.
I agree.
Was fine as hell when she had to be, and very intimidating when she had to be. Some of her lines were kind of stoic here and there, like Mr. Vincent, very important to me. But yeah, I like her. So Regine Dandridge.
Interesting.
Also like Maria Zaleska from Dracula's Daughter a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
That's another seriously underrated vampire movie. Dracula's Daughter. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great one.
Yeah.
Criminally overlooked.
Yeah. One more for the favorite male vampire character, just because I forgot to mention him. The Baron Meinster, Brides of Dracula.
Oh yeah.
Thought he was really cool.
Yeah, he was great. And David Peel did a good job.
He's no Dracula, but I still thought he was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was very suave, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they did something different.
Almost like James Bond as a vampire. Is like, so, like charming, you know.
Yeah, Trash Stats. The subspecies movies are really good. I highly recommend them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Subspecies, and that was still when Full Moon was putting out some pretty good stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
my favorites are Trancers.
Trancers is great.
My favorites from Full Moon have always been Puppet Master. I've
nice.
Like that too. Castle Freak's really good too.
Castle Freak, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like Demonic Toys a lot too.
Oh yeah.
Any other vampire related topics you guys want to get into before we start?
Yeah, I still have a few honorable mentions.
Yeah.
You got all the Gene Rollins, like, you know, Trash Jess mentioned there, like the Shiver of the Vampires, and that's probably my favorite of the Gene Rollins vampire ones.
Mm-hmm.
You had Lips of Blood, Requiem for a Vampire,
Mm-hmm.
and then Jess Franco had the Vampiros Lesbos.
Yeah. I actually had one more question to go with the vampire stuff, and that is favorite death of a vampire. It don't have to be a particular; it can just be your favorite death. And for me, my favorite vampire death ever is Dracula's death in Dracula Has Risen from the Grave.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When he eyes are bleeding. Great.
Yeah. I'll say Dracula's death and Horror of Dracula.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great too.
I really like that.
Hell yeah.
I would say that if we're talking about just Dracula, I would say that. But I'm gonna say from Interview with the Vampire, when Stephen Ray's character gets killed, you know, once Louis takes his revenge and, you know, sets everyone on fire, and then he comes up and tries to sneak behind him, and he's just like with the sickle, you know, cuts him in half. That's pretty badass.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Another good one is, how about Life Force?
Oh,
the space vampires.
Oh yeah, space vampires. Mathilda May.
Yeah. Nosferatu class. Yeah, that's the what was it, 79?
79, yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah, you gotta give love to Nosferatu. What a classic.
Oh yeah.
Started
over
all,
100
yeah.
years old.
Over 100 years old.
Yeah. You know, all copies of that movie were destroyed except for one. Only one copy made it to America. And if that hadn't happened, then we wouldn't even know. I mean, we wouldn't have seen the movie. It would have just been lost.
Imagine.
Yeah. That's what I heard anyway.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of movies from back then were lost. Like London After Midnight with Lon Chaney Sr.
Yeah, we never saw that.
Yeah, I'd love to. I wish it would be found someday. I'd love
too
to
bad.
See it. Yeah. But Nosferatu was almost one of those lost movies.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God they found that one copy, huh?
Yeah, I was lucky. Yeah.
Like you said, it really is Dracula's story. You know, they just didn't have the rights to the name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you got all like the same like characters.
Yeah, I think they were even sued by the Stoker estate or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's one of those movies where the name of the movie, I guess, kind of took on a life as people think that's the name of the character is Nosferatu.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
It's Count Orlok.
yeah, kind of similar to Frankenstein. Like the monster's name is not Frankenstein.
Right.
I know everybody's calls him that.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add about vampires before we get into metal drummers?
Love a vampire movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the '79 one had the actual names of the characters from the Bram Stoker novel.
Yeah.
So now that we're getting into metal drummers, I just want to say a quick disclaimer. Because the metal genre is so massive, there are so many genres in and of itself, we're clearly not going to be able to name every drummer there is. But we could name a lot right now and then still probably miss. So
Yeah.
True.
There's a lot to choose from.
yeah, I mean, traditional metal, thrash metal, death metal, groove metal. It's just so many genres.
A lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, sure.
So we just gonna like randomly kind of an open discussion kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess the first one I'll mention, because he's so important, is Bill Ward.
Yep.
Black Sabbath.
That was really the inspiration for a lot to come in the future. And
absolutely.
He beat the hell out of the drum set. I mean,
he sure did.
That classic performance of War Pigs, and he's just like.
He was in the band that invented heavy metal, so
yeah,
he should get a lot of props.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The most props, probably.
And he was with him so long, until like the end,
Yeah, I think Vinny Appice was a great drummer too, who was also in South. He's the one who replaced Bill Ward. He was usually whenever they had Dio, pretty much they had Vinny Appice, except for on the album Heaven and Hell, which was with Bill Ward.
Got to give him his due. Well, I'll throw someone out there who I think is very underrated, and he often gets overshadowed by the guy he replaced, Paul Bostaph.
Oh yeah.
And when he first joined Slayer, he kind of had to almost be Dave Lombardo, but and he did a great job at that. But I feel like once you get to like Diabolus and Musica, he really came into his own with his own style, which is great. I love the creative stuff that he did on that album and the subsequent albums. Like God Hates Us All, he was fantastic. Even in the last one, he had some great stuff on that one too.
Yeah,
he had some big shoes to fill.
Yeah. Like a couple examples, I'd say I love Bitter Peace on Diabolus and Musica. They're a great drum opening intro. And of course, it's a classic, the Killing Fields, that was them saying, we got a new drummer, he's a badass, but it's a great intro,
Yeah.
And on the Repentless, I really liked what he did with Cast the First Stone with the cymbals, work is amazing. Yeah, it's a great drummer. He gets just overshadowed, it's a shame.
Yeah, I agree. He is a really good drummer, and like I know he was coming from the band Forbidden, so to go from Forbidden to Slayer, I'm sure there was like a lot of people just like, no, you're not Dave, but like he ain't that bad. He's a drummer.
He's great. See you later, James.
A good one.
Peace out, James.
So, who's everybody's favorite metal drummer?
Favorite. The one I just mentioned, Dave Lombardo.
Mine too. Has been
There's a
for years.
reason, he's so powerful, and he's so talented,
Super fast,
incredible. Yeah, he's insane how fast he is, and
yeah,
the double bass drum is insane. Like, there's nobody does that better.
True. Yep. Love his instrument too on the Gathering album. Drumming is insane on that.
He's done a lot of pretty cool stuff after Slayer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Phantomas with Mike Patton, and now he's in Mr. Bungle now, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sony. He's got his own thing right now, doesn't he? He's coming out with his own solo album, right?
I
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Suicidal for a while, Tendencies.
Yeah.
Done a lot of projects.
Yeah.
I really like Pete Sandoval from Morbid Angel a lot.
I was going to mention him, yeah.
Yeah, nobody can touch that guy on speed, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish he was still with them,
Me too.
When it comes to Pete Sandoval, I will say that because I'm a guitar player, and like the thing about metal that was always my favorite was guitars.
Me too.
Really, I never, for some reason, never really paid attention to any other thing. But when I first heard Morbid Angel as a kid, and Pete Sandoval's drumming sounding like a freaking machine gun, I was like, whoa. Like on the song Raps, it was like, durr, durr, durr. I was like, God. That's when it really started kicking for me. That, pun intended, kicking. That's when that the drums are just as important as the guitar if you want that good bass sound to it.
Especially in death metal.
Yeah. So, yeah, Pete Sandoval. Another one I wanted to mention, who unfortunately is no longer with us, Mr. Vinnie Paul of Pantera.
Yes.
Sucks he has passed away, but he left us with a legacy. He was a fantastic drummer.
Absolutely.
For sure. What's some of your favorite songs that he played on, like, that stand out to you think?
Of course, I mean, Domination's one of them. The live.
Oh, yeah.
Crap. A New Level. I saw a few live performances from them playing that, and he beat the drums like they owed him money. I mean, he's stuff like, of course, I'm naming all the classics. I mean, Cowboys from Hell and stuff. He was just a standout to me on a lot of things. And I'll be honest, I never really listened to Hell Yeah, so I'm not as familiar with it.
I listened to them a little bit. Damage Plan.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite one is like one that's the more kind of a more simpler beat, but 5 minutes alone.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
just something so intense about that, like the simplicity of it, but it hits so hard, like psh, 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 the video, and he's got the fire and the drumsticks and spinning around.
Unbroken has some pretty cool drums.
Yeah,
Slaughtered, heavy as hell.
nice.
I love Revolution Is My Name. I know a lot of people are iffy on that album, but I still love it.
I like that song.
But I just love the way it kicks in with the ooh. Yeah.
Them two together are such a force, like him and Dime, that
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
that chemistry, it's like magic.
Absolutely.
Timbo Cinema's in the chat. How's it going?
What's up? Speaking of Pantera, I gotta shout out Charlie Benante,
From Anthrax, yeah.
who is playing with Pantera now.
Right, yeah.
He's doing a great job.
I think he's kind of underrated. You don't hear about him all that much, but he's really
He
good,
is.
actually.
Yep.
Very underrated.
Yeah. Yeah, he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great choice for this Pantera celebration thing.
Yeah,
Because him
definitely.
and Dimebag were friends, and they played together on a few Anthrax songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had seen him play a lot of Pantera songs too before, like on the. I don't know if you ever saw the Metal Masterworks shows that they did, like a super group type thing with Phil Anselmo and like different, like Gary Holt and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Cool stuff.
This is cool. Like you see, seeing him play with like Kerry King and stuff.
Yeah.
Anybody have any suggestions for a good headset microphone that will record for an iPhone?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure myself.
Never really used it for that purpose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I only had one for my laptop.
Yeah. I don't think I have a microphone at the moment.
I do. I have a one that I was used for a while
Mm-hmm.
on my stream. I usually use it on my solo streams and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody in the chat might be able to help.
I'm curious your thoughts on this guy who's kind of controversial, Lars Ulrich.
Yeah, I figured that's what you were going to say.
Probably knew I was going there, right?
I think in the end he does kind of deserve his respect. I mean, he was in the beginning trash, and his early stuff wasn't bad at all. And I will say that while people do hate him a lot and say you could have a video of a duck playing, like I've seen a video of a duck playing its feet on a bucket, and people in the comments were like, better than Lars. Like, that's just become an ongoing is better than Lars. I just, especially these days when I hear his drumming, I just don't really hear the variety. Like, a lot of it sounds like the same repeated beats over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, even he himself will admit he's not the best drummer around. Like,
Right.
But I still respect him for what he's done.
He's kind of more like Metallica's manager. Like, he
Yeah,
happens to name
he's the
band.
spokesman.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people dislike him as a person, and that kind of taints their, the way how they view him as a musician.
Yeah.
But yeah, his drums on Saint Anger were, of course, that whole album was terrible, but that was one of the worst things about it.
This
Well,
had such a weird sound. Like, what was with
Yeah.
the sound on those drums? Like,
It
what
was
was
a
he
really
doing?
weird drum sound, like a tin can, like
Yeah, it sounds like
garage door or something.
I don't know what.
He'd be hitting the cymbals, but it sounded like ping, 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 ping.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on there. Well, the first few albums, the first like 3 or 4 albums, he was decent. I mean, that drum fill on For Him the Bell Tolls, I think it was not bad.
Yeah.
I see some pretty impressive stuff. Yeah. He's got chops, He's nowhere near the best.
Yeah, I mean, his drums on One, of course, the the double bass, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Like, I think some people expect too much. You're not going to hear him do a Pete Sandoval like.
Right.
Yeah. He's not that kind of.
No. In ways, I feel bad for him, but I mean, they still sell out shows and become number one.
I like his stuff on Justice.
Yeah.
But it might have been at the expense of the bass, but
Yeah. Next one I wanted to mention. He's a legend. He's been in bands from everything from Dark Angel to Death to Testament. I'm talking about Mr. Gene Hoglan.
Gene Hoglan.
Yeah.
They call him Gene the Atomic Clock Hoglan. It's just, he's insane. He's a great drummer.
The virtuoso.
Yes.
Yeah, he could do anything. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, he might be the best there is, really. Like,
yeah. I've always considered him and Dave Lombardo the top, like right there.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, he's in my top 3 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's very technically sound.
Yeah.
I used him with Fear Factory for a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just like Dave Lombardo, he's been in a lot of bands.
Yeah. Death for a little while.
Testament.
Yeah.
Death Clock.
The
Metalocalypse.
Yeah. We got to mention the late Nick Menza.
Yep.
Yes.
From Megadeth. He was my favorite drummer they ever had by far.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he was
Definitely.
awesome. When him and Marty Friedman were in the band, like, wow, they could just do no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
most people would say that's the most solid lineup,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
One, 2 is in the chat.
Love his work on Sweating Bullets.
Yeah, for sure. Great stuff.
Yep. Speaking of drummers who are no longer with us, even though I am nowhere near as into the band as I used to be, Joey Jordison from Slipknot, I mean, his time in Slipknot, he was very respected in the metal community overall.
You gotta give it to him.
Yeah, he's a great drummer.
He was a beast, and it definitely sucked the day that he passed away. And I was like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey Jordison, gotta throw it out there to him.
He's nasty.
Yeah. Scott Travis from Judas Priest.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great drummer. I think he's probably my favorite that they've ever had. He's been with them since Painkiller.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw them live, and he was just a beast on the drum kit, especially on the song Painkiller. Just insane.
Yeah.
Love the open, just awesome.
Hell yeah.
And of course, you have Clive Burr, rest in peace, and Nico McBrain, both from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Got to mention them.
Definitely.
I can't decide who I like better. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like them both equally in different ways.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Clive Burr was great in the first three, and then Nico's been with him ever since, and he's great as well. So,
Sure. Yeah, Grip Inc. That was Dave Lombardo's first post Slayer.
right.
Yeah.
What do you think about? I know you guys aren't that huge fans of them, but Chris Adler from Lamb of God.
Yeah,
I
he's
thought
great.
he was kick ass.
I
Like
think he's the
drummer.
best part of that band.
Yeah,
I saw them
I
live.
agree.
He was like the focal point, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like he was like my favorite part.
He was a machine.
Yeah.
Big mistake getting rid of him. Whatever. Or
Yeah.
Wasn't Chris Adler in Megadeth? Like, or is he still in Megadeth?
he worked on the Dystopia album, and he
Yeah.
played a few shows with him.
Yeah.
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 I really like Mickey D from Motorhead.
Yeah.
He was also in King Diamond.
Yeah.
He was great.
Hell yeah.
What about? I'm surprised you guys haven't mentioned Paul Mazurkowitz.
Yeah,
Cannibal
from Cannibal
Corpse.
Corpse. Yeah, he's really good. A lot of his stuff is a little repetitive, but it still works. It still fits the band perfectly. So I love it. I mean, he's got serious skills, undoubtedly. Just a lot of his beats do sound similar, but that's okay because that's like a huge part of their sound.
Right.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. I know this is not technically metal, but we're talking about drummers, and I wanted to throw out Neil Peart.
Oh yeah.
A fantastic drummer as well.
Yeah.
Oh, in my opinion, he's the greatest ever.
Yeah. I'd say him.
I know that's
John
arguable, but
Bonham. Say him and John Bonham and Keith Moon. If you're just talking about drummers in general, him and Bonham and Keith Moon and Ian Pace from Deep Purple.
Yeah. From a technicality standpoint, he's freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
No one stays in Megadeth except Dave.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, true. Strange Tennesseans in the chat. How's it going, Strange Tennessean?
What's up?
Hello.
I could say the same thing for Jeff Waters with a
Annihilator, yeah.
lineup changes. It's not funny.
Or John Schaefer in Iced Earth.
Yeah.
Still better than Sepultura. There's nobody in that.
Yeah, pretty much. Same with Napalm Death.
Yeah. Oh, this is completely off topic, but I re-listened to Napalm Death's first album again. That 2-second song "You Suffer" is the funniest thing ever. Just that.
Cool.
What about Tom Hunting from Exodus?
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yes. Good old. There's so many good drummers, and at this point, I'm starting to blank on who to mention. We already mentioned so many.
I think I mentioned just about everybody that I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
There's so many great ones out there. It's hard to name them all.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say Thomas Hake from Meshuggah is a very good, great technical. I mean, their beats are so complicated and weird. You know, it's I don't know how he does it, like how he keeps up with those like weird like beats and time signatures or whatever.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah, it's Scott Rockenfield, Queensryche.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty kick ass.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think I just about said everyone that I had on my notes.
Me too.
I'll say one doesn't get enough love. Some people might think he's repetitive, but I'll say Raymond Herrera from Fear Factory.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What about Mike Portnoy?
Yeah,
Dream Theater.
yeah. Huge drum kit like Neil Peart.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 1,000 drums on this.
Yeah.
Mike Puffy Borden from Faith No More.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to start doing the drums more every now and then. I mean, I've played drums before, but not to the level that I am at with the guitar. So
I suck at drums.
Me too.
But I've never really
And I'm not
tried.
really good at anything. Any instrument.
I mean, I've never really tried with
I'd
drums.
mess around. That's like I've never
Yeah.
tried
Sometimes,
to take lessons or anything.
sometimes my drummer leaves his set here and I just mess around with it a little bit. And that's about it. That's about the extent of my drumming ability.
My brother's a drummer.
Oh, nice.
nice.
He's played with a lot of bands.
Cool.
He does like, you know, a lot of classic rock type stuff.
Nice, nice.
He's really good.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
It's fun to mess around though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could play. Like I wish I could learn. Like take lessons or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, who can afford buying a drum kit? You know.
Yeah. In hindsight, I kind of wish that I'd learned drums instead of guitar because every band needs a drummer. Like drummers are so hard to find, especially in the area I live in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like every band, you know, is constantly in need of a drummer. So I would have always been in a band.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I find
a
myself
cool instrument.
drumming on countertops a lot with my fingers, just like
Yeah, I do that all.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
an expert at that.
Yeah, me too. I'm great at that.
I get the double going. I'm like,
Like yeah, I had a nice beat there. Or I'll play along like perfectly to whatever song I'm listening to. Like, wish I could play that good on a actual drum set.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm an expert at tabletop drumming, but if I was a real kid, I'd probably fall through it.
Play
Cool,
on
cool.
the freaking glass. Bling, bling, bling. Just bang the glasses.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
pencil.
Yep, I've done it for so long. Half the time, I don't know I'm doing it. I'm just sitting down. That's it.
Yeah, I do
I do it so much, it's ridiculous.
Hi guys, was there any other drummers you want to mention real quick before we wrap up?
I think that's about it for me.
Yeah,
Likewise.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Definitely. Great time, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll have to talk about what we'll do next time, huh?
Yeah. We'll have to come up with something good for next month.
Mm-hmm.
As we always do.
Oh, well, thank you everybody for joining us here in the Morbid Hour.
Hell yeah.
Peace out, guys. Have a great night.
Have
You
a great
too.
Metal
Yes, sir.
rules.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Later.